Okay, and we're live. Have you ever wanted to understand how a realtor could help you either buy or sell a house? Have you seen ads for realtors but weren't really sure what exactly they do to earn the money on the commission that they pay or that they get paid? Um, well, here we're going to hope to give you some information that will help to make that easier for you to understand. I'm David Pipe, local mortgage agent. I'm joined with my guest, Rob Kent, who is an expert realtor with eXp Realty. And today we just wanted to give you a couple of quick tips, some information that can help you understand just a little bit about what a realtor actually does to help you either buy or sell a house. Rob, how you doing today?
I'm good, David. How are you doing?
Oh, great, great as always. So, me being on the mortgage side, I often work with realtors back and forth, but sometimes you get clients who aren't really sure what exactly the realtor is doing for them or how they could be helped by working with a realtor. Um, Help us understand maybe a little bit about what are some of the sort of the key things that realtors do to help people either buy or sell.
Yeah, well, I mean, it all starts with like going through the process of what it's going to look like, right? From A to Z, from beginning to either look at homes if you already have your financing, or maybe it's even starting with financing, right? Starting with financing till the day of closing, and then even after closing, it's about answering any questions that they might have regarding things with their home. I still get calls from past clients, years later, asking questions about, when should we replace our roof, or do you know somebody who can fix my furnace, or it's about providing advice throughout the process.
So it feels like there's a point person in the whole thing that you work with. Let's say that you're a buyer, for example. It
Yeah,
feels like
yeah.
you're saying that this is your point person that may not have every answer to every question, but certainly can connect you and guide you through this entire process and help you sort of understand what happens next and where to go if there's something that comes up that you're not sure about. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, like it's almost like right from day one, you have a team, right? So you're just getting to meet, or you just met this person, let's say, and they're looking to work with you, and it's about working as a team with the mortgage agent, the lawyer, anybody throughout the process. Could be a home inspector, and it's about kind of like having that Rolodex of a team that they'd have access to by working with you, and any because there's going to be several questions throughout the process, and like I had mentioned, even after they've been living in their home. So I mean, that's one of the things that a realtor does is kind of giving their Rolodex of people to their clients, so that their clients can have whatever it is that they're looking for, landscaping, plumber, whatever,
Hmm.
right? That
I can see
access
that.
to,
I Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I can see that being especially important for new buyers, so first time buyers
yeah,
especially. And even
yeah,
if you're not a first timer, I mean, most people don't buy houses every year, every 2 years, so it's a new process and things change a lot
yeah,
from time to time. The other thing I see that is if you're
yeah,
moving from out of town. So let's say you're coming into a new town
right,
and you're looking to buy a
yeah,
house there. Hey, having somebody that can help to direct you to the right places to get things done and make you feel comfortable. That's
yep.
that's that's really important.
Yeah, and it's
So
about teaching. Well, and it's especially for somebody coming out of town. It's like showing them your community, right? Introducing them to the community, and showing them, introducing them to new neighborhoods or new businesses, things like that, right?
right,
To
right,
show kind
okay,
of your expertise of the local market.
right. So aside from being sort of playing that many hats, organizer,
Yeah.
process person, what other ways does a realtor help somebody? What else do they actually do? Once you're engaged with the realtor and you're working with them, throughout the process.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of things that we do. We help them find homes, right? And it's not even just a home, it's homes. You want to look at, several different homes, get an idea. It's about getting an idea of what it is that your client's looking for. It's not what you're looking for your client. It's what your client is looking for, and you're helping them find, their home. And it's about acting in their best interest, right? Always acting in their best interest, negotiating. If it's, maybe it's negotiating. We might not be seeing this right now as much on a buyer's side, but there are times where, you're gonna be able to negotiate better price for your clients, or for your sellers, right? Maybe that's what it is right now, and it's advising your sellers on what the best way is to get top dollar for their home.
Right. Right. And you know what? I mean,
So
yeah, sorry, Rod, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking that,
no, no, no.
on the negotiation side, some people think that, being a good negotiator just means, sort of like pushing yourself around and being overly strong-willed about it. But, what I think is really important for people to understand is that ability to negotiate comes from having information about the market, right? And having information about the
Yeah,
homes and having information about the situation.
yep,
So the more knowledge
exactly.
that you have at your disposal, the better negotiator you can be. And that's where a realtor comes in, because they understand what's happening in the market, for months and months before you even decided to buy a house. And that information helps them to negotiate better on your behalf. So that's one thing I
Yeah,
think that is just, it stands out for me is super important. And the other thing that I like, about what you said was, the realtors helping you to find the home that you're looking for, not the home that they're looking for you, right?
yeah,
So
that's right.
understanding your
Yeah,
needs, right? I think that fits really well, because everybody's needs are different, and just because I like houses that have 2 stories, and live in this neighborhood, maybe the realtor realizes that for you or for me, that's not the right house for that client. So no, that's really important.
yeah,
So tell
yeah,
us a little bit
yeah.
more about those kind of things, maybe on the selling side.
Well, yeah. So I was thinking on the buying side. So it's about having strategies as well, right? So one of the big things that's going on right now is several buyers have been in the market for maybe months now, right? And they might have submitted several offers. So it's about what kind of strategies can you have about winning an offer, and there are definitely strategies to help with that. On the selling side, it's about letting them know how they can get top dollar for the home, whether it's through professional photos, staging, even timing. Right? When's the right time to sell? Is it when there are several homes on the market? Is it when you're the only home on the street? When you're the only home in the neighborhood, right? So it's about having those conversations and having that expertise for your clients, right? It's a strategy. So there's strategies for both. There's strategies for buyers, and there's strategies for sellers.
Right, right, exactly. Okay, that's great. No, and I think that just having a little bit of information about you know how that process works will help to make
Yeah.
those people watching this video feel a little bit more comfortable about where to start. So how do you suggest somebody get started if they're maybe give us a little bit on both sides, on the seller side and the buyer side, but how does somebody get started with either picking the right realtor or just figuring out where they should like literally start from zero? What do they do?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're always going to want to work with a realtor that you feel comfortable with, that you kind of have an easy kind of built rapport with someone, right? So it's somebody that you trust. Starting wise, I mean, a buyer would always want to start by knowing how much they can afford, right? So rather than kind of blankly looking for homes either on the internet, or working with a realtor, and looking at homes that maybe they can't afford, it's about knowing how much home you can afford, and then going out and seeing those homes, and preferably only those homes. On the selling side, it's about again, it's about reaching out to a realtor that you feel that you can work with, or realtors, right? You want to talk to more than one, and work with somebody that you feel comfortable working with, and that you feel has your best interest in hand, and can provide you the best strategies and expertise. So that's kind of where you would start is, and who's giving you kind of the best advice throughout the process.
That's right. And it's not always, this is one thing I find. It's not always the realtor that, if you're listing, say, if you're looking to list, it's not always the one that
Yeah,
comes in and says they'll sell your house for the most. Because, say,
that's right.
the number is important, of course, but getting there is the really important thing. So, certainly make sure you find somebody that you feel that you can trust and that has a plan, right?
Yeah,
So, I hear you
yeah,
talking about the process and a plan, and it's about, how do we follow through that process to get us to either the selling outcome that we want or the buying outcome that we want. But that's really
yeah.
helpful. Any last words, Rob? Any final advice for people who are thinking about contacting a realtor? Anything that they need to know to get started?
No, just I mean, at the end of the day, work with somebody that you're comfortable. Find the right one. Don't just maybe work with the first one that you meet. It's work with somebody that you feel comfortable and that you feel will give you the best service. Right. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's all about service. It's not about what you want to hear. It's about who's going to give you the best service and who's going to do the best job for you.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
makes the most sense. No, I think you totally hit it,
Yeah.
Rob. That's great. Well, listen, thanks very much for everybody who's watching, and of course for Rob, my guest, with all that great information. Rob's an expert realtor with EXP Realty, based here in Guelph, and I'm David Pipe, local mortgage agent. If you have more questions or want to learn more about the way that we can help you to buy in this market or sell in this market, connect with Rob or connect with me. And our information will be located below. Thanks very much, everybody, and have a great day.